Over the last 16 years, I've flown many different aircraft, from the string-bag Tiger Moth, the Cessna 152, all the way up to the mighty Harvard, but nothing like her, nothing like the Spitfire. Right, stairs are away. Pilot's just finished his final checks. Let's start the engine.
Oh dear.
Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Let's try that again. There we go, there's the sound of that Merlin engine. All checks complete. Let's start our journey out to the end of the runway. And a final wave to my girlfriend and my friend and her parents as they stand there on the balcony as I make my way out towards the runway. The cockpit of the aircraft is very snug. I'm by no means a wide man, but that aircraft fit me like a glove. When I got into her and the door was shut and the canopy closed, it was almost as if though I hadn't sat in an aircraft. It was almost as though I'd put the aircraft on. So snug was the cockpit, there was almost a sense of being one with this machine as we taxied along the runway. And as we moved, I could only imagine what it would feel like to feel a part of this plane in flight. With the final checks complete, it's time to line up and prepare to unleash 1,700 horsepower of Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. Fairly soon after takeoff, it became clear that this wasn't going to be a particularly smooth flight. Although we had a bright sunny day with a few clouds around, the air was very turbulent. We would go up and we would go down all of a sudden as we hit different pockets of turbulence. But I think my face speaks for itself. I was the happiest man in the world in that aircraft. Out into our manoeuvring area, we did a little bit of sightseeing. My pilot Pete pointed out that we could could see all the way to the Dartford Moors, and then if we looked back over, we could see all the way back to London. We came in over Brands Hatch at 2,000 feet and at 320 miles an hour. I looked out of the window down at the racetrack and I could see cars going around the circuit. I didn't care for that. I was in a Spitfire. Spitfires beat cars any day of the week. Plus, I suspect at 320 miles an hour cruise speed, I was probably going a little faster than they were going around that circuit. We headed out towards the Dartford Bridge, and the moment that I had waited 16 years for. And then, with the Dartford Bridge in sight just off our left wing, my pilot said something to me that I had waited 16 years to hear. He asked me if I would like to take control of the aircraft. I didn't hesitate. I responded with a very prompt, "I have control." I put my hands on the stick, and the aircraft was mine to fly. I began a very gentle right turn, just feeling how she would respond. And what they said was true. You just gently moved your hand and slowly she went. There was no pulling or pushing or kicking. You could almost breathe on it, and if you wanted to, you could turn. It was at this point I realised I had a slight problem. My ADI, the attitude direction indicator in the rear cockpit, wasn't working, which meant I didn't know the bank angle I was at other than by my own sight. So I kept the banks nice and smooth to begin with, just, slowly pushing her over more and more, just feeling the aircraft in my hands. Flying this aircraft is undoubtedly the proudest moment of my life. We spent some time over Brands Hatch and over around by the Dartford Bridge, just flying, just seeing how she felt. And everything they say about this aircraft is true. Did a bit of climbing, a bit of descending, very gentle movements to make her climb or descend. She's so sensitive on the pitch and so sensitive on the yaw. Just a small movement on the control stick forward or back yielded the perfect response. Whereas with the Harvard or the Cessna, I'd have to give the stick a bit of a yank to make it do its thing. This thing's just such a gentle touch and she goes. Then came the moment that I'd been excited for since the moment we left the ground. My pilot asked me if I would like him to demonstrate a victory roll. Of course, I said yes without hesitation. He says first off we'll do a wing over and then dive to gain a bit of speed. And he pulled this plane almost over just into this wing over maneuver, into a dive. And up comes the nose, and then he pulls us round to the left. And you can just see in my face the sheer elation of doing this. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you celebrate a victory roll, with 2 thumbs up and the biggest smile in the world. And after another moment or two of flying, he says something that I had hoped since we took off he would say. He asked me if I would like to perform a wing over and a victory roll, and of course I didn't hesitate to say yes. He talked me through it all the way as I pulled her into the wing over. I didn't dare take it quite as far as he had. And then nose up and then the nose back, and I'm waiting for him to tell me. Then he says it, roll. I pushed that stick over and that plane rolled all the way around, and I pulled her up level, and I was the happiest man I had ever been. I had victory rolled a Supermarine Spitfire. As much as I'd enjoyed this, my time was almost up, so it was time to head back to Biggin Hill. The whole way back, my pilot is talking me through the process of setting up to land and to get this plane down on the ground. We came through the overhead of Biggin Hill and then began that famous curved approach that Spitfire is known for. Did a few slight weaves as we approached, and he gently brings her down, and she just ever so gently kisses the earth. And in that moment I wanted to cry, because as unmanly as that sounds, that was the most magical experience I'd ever had in my life. My pilot Pete taxied us back round to the hangar. And pulled us in, and he swung her around, and I was grinning so much. And well, I didn't know what to say, but don't listen to me recording this one day later. Listen to what I said when they asked me when the canopy was opened.
I don't know the words for that one, to be fair.
Oh yes.